Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood and sports updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. Today, we dive into the emotional and explosive Game 2 of the NBA playoffs between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You won't believe what happened on the court. Let's begin. In one of the most emotionally charged playoff games of the season, the Los Angeles Lakers stepped into the Crypto.com arena with their backs against the wall, bruised not just by a Game 1 defeat, but by a wave of criticism, skepticism, and doubt that had begun circling both inside and outside the organization. The lights were blinding, the stakes were overwhelming, and the pressure was nothing short of suffocating. Game 2 wasn't just about evening the series. It was about redemption, reclaiming identity, and silencing the noise. And leading the charge was none other than Luka Dončić, the superstar acquisition, whose every move this season has carried the weight of expectation. This was the moment to justify it all. Luka entered the game with a kind of fire rarely seen, as if the whispers of doubt had finally sparked an inferno within. The opening minutes saw him dissect Minnesota's defense with surgical precision, driving to the basket with conviction, drawing contact, sinking fadeaways from the mid-range, and lacing assists that only his vision could generate. Every step he took was a message to the critics. I'm here. I belong. He wasn't alone in this battle. LeBron James, the eternal warrior and the spiritual backbone of this Lakers team, played like a man possessed, determined not to let Father Time write the final chapter just yet. Together, Dončić and LeBron created a symphony of basketball, brilliance, one note at a time. But let's not sugarcoat it. This game was ugly. Physically, emotionally, and strategically. Fouls piled up, missed shots mounted, tempers flared. The Timberwolves, riding high after Game 1, came in with an air of confidence. Anthony Edwards tried to ignite his team with fearless drives, while Karl Anthony Towns sought dominance in the paint, but Los Angeles, knowing what was at stake, brought something that Minnesota simply couldn't match. Defensive intensity and raw desperation. The Lakers forced turnover after turnover. They clogged lanes. They boxed out with an almost violent urgency. It was as if every defensive possession was a matter of survival, and in many ways, it was. Midway through the second quarter, tensions erupted. A hard foul on Dončić led to a minor scuffle. Benches rose, eyes locked. For a brief moment, it felt like this series might implode into chaos. But instead of losing their composure, the Lakers harnessed the moment. It lit a fuse. LeBron gathered. The huddle whispered something that only his teammates heard. And what followed was a 12-0 run that turned the tide of the game. Dončić took over, again, sinking a deep three, then another, and then threading a no-look pass to Austin Reaves, who nailed a corner shot that sent the crowd into hysteria. By halftime, the Lakers held a 9-point lead, and the Timberwolves looked rattled. Their shots weren't falling. The rhythm from Game 1 had completely vanished. You could see it in their body language. Confusion, frustration. The LA crowd, which had been nervously quiet to start, roared with a kind of belief that had been missing for weeks. In the locker room, Coach Darvin Ham reminded his players of the mission. This isn't just about basketball. This is about pride. About proving that we don't fold. Not here, not now. The third quarter was perhaps the most painful to watch. Low scoring, mistake-ridden, and intensely physical, but it was here that Austin Reaves became the unexpected hero. Time and time again, when momentum began to waver, Reaves hit the big arms shot, a floater in traffic, a clutch free throw, a contested three. He played like a man possessed, embracing the moment, embracing the spotlight. His contributions were the glue that held the Lakers together, while Minnesota clawed and scraped to stay in the game. Defensively, Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura were monsters. Vanderbilt hounded Edwards relentlessly, while Hachimura's athleticism forced Minnesota into low-percentage looks. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't pretty, but it was effective. And in the playoffs, that's all that matters. Then came the fourth quarter. Minnesota mounted a furious comeback attempt. Suddenly, they were within 5. The Lakers' offense stalled. Panic crept in. Missed shots. Turnovers. The once booming crowd fell into an anxious murmur. The Timberwolves could feel it, the series slipping into their control. But just as doubt threatened to return, LeBron stepped up. Not with a three-pointer, not with a dunk, but with a crucial rebound and a bullet pass to Dončić, who drained a cold-blooded triple with 2 hands in his face. It was the dagger. The arena exploded. Minnesota called timeout, but the damage had been done. With under 2 minutes left, LeBron drove to the basket, absorbed contact, and finished an and one that sealed the deal. He didn't flex. He didn't celebrate. He just stared into the camera, ice cold, as if to say, "We're not done." As the final buzzer sounded, the Lakers had not only won the game, they had restored faith. The scoreboard read 94-85. But the score barely told the story. Dončić finished with 31 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Just shy of a triple-double, LeBron added 21 points, 11 boards, and 7 dimes. Reaves had 16 clutch points that felt like 30. The Lakers' defense held Minnesota to 38% shooting and just 20% from beyond the arc. Those are championship-caliber numbers. Post-game interviews were a mixture of relief and resolve. Dončić spoke softly but confidently. "We knew we had to respond. This was personal. We're not satisfied yet." LeBron echoed the sentiment. Game 2 was about heart. Now it's a series. But what does this mean moving forward? The series is now tied 1-1, and the Timberwolves are rattled. They've lost home court advantage, and more importantly, they've been reminded that these Lakers, when locked in, are nothing short of dangerous. Game 3 now becomes a battle for psychological dominance. The team that wins next could set the tone for the rest of the series. There's also a deeper narrative at play here. Legacy. For LeBron, every playoff game matters more than ever. He's fighting not just for another title, but for cementing an untouchable place in NBA history. For Dončić, this series is a proving ground. Can he lead a franchise? Can he shine brightest when it matters most? And for the Lakers as an organization, this is a referendum on roster decisions, coaching faith, and team chemistry. In a year filled with drama, trades, injuries, and headlines, Game 2 stood as a turning point. A gritty, emotional, blood and sweat playoff battle that reminded everyone why we watch. Not just for stats, not just for dunks, but for moments like this, when a team is counted out, mocked by pundits, and facing elimination energy in Game 2. And then fights back with everything they've got. As we look ahead to Game 3, there are still questions. Can the Timberwolves regroup? Can Anthony Edwards rise to the occasion? Will Dončić continue his dominance on the road? Or will LA ride this wave of momentum and deliver a knockout punch in enemy territory? One thing is certain, the Lakers are back, and if Game 2 was any indication, this series is far from over. So buckle up, Lakers Nation, because this ride is just beginning. Thanks for watching Daily Gossip. If you love this emotional roller coaster of a recap, make sure to like, comment your thoughts on Dončić and LeBron's performance, and subscribe for more intense NBA playoff coverage. We've got you covered daily with the biggest drama in basketball, Hollywood, and beyond. See you in the next one.